Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Thursday, August 13th, 2026. The stock market is literally just opening. Hopefully, you heard that opening bell in the background there. Thursday morning, getting into the second half of the week, and good start to the morning so far. I noticed that futures were all pointing to the upside. I haven't been watching for as long this morning as I usually am. Usually, I'm up watching the markets for a good um, I don't know, hour and a half to 2 hours before the markets actually open. I was only watching for about the last 30 minutes before the market opened today, but futures all pointing up. Good PPI numbers came out after yesterday's CPI numbers. I like a lot of people because I heard a lot of commentary about this yesterday throughout the day and even a little bit. Um, this morning, people were talking a little bit about how going into this report, they were a little bit nervous about it, a little bit of anticipation, but the numbers came in good, much like the CPI numbers yesterday. Things came in either in line with what was estimated or better. In the case of the month over month, dead flat, and it was expected to go up just a little bit. Now, counterbalancing that's a really good narrative. Counterbalancing that a little bit is that the prior month that showed down 0.3% was actually revised and was only 0.1% down. So, yeah, not quite as rosy as what it looked like a month ago. But the year over year number was down a little bit more. It was expected to drop from the previous year, but it dropped a little bit farther. So it beat the estimate. Core beat the estimate a little bit, and month over month, and core year over year came in exactly in line. All of this other stuff, to me, the rest of this is just kind of fluff when you start getting into um, uh, minus goods and services, minus only goods, minus only services. I don't pay that close attention to that. It seems like we're trying to dissect it maybe a little bit too much when we get into that, but still good good numbers on the PPI report, and that, of course, the natural result of that is that it tamps down the expectation of anything negative as it relates to interest rates. You start backing away from the talk about raising interest rates. Now, we've already had a couple of reports. The CPI report yesterday, the jobs report last week that made it look like a tougher jobs market than what a lot of people assumed we were in. That, of course, um, helped tamp down or push down a little bit those expectations of a rate increase. So now you've got more people than not thinking that through the rest of this year, you're just not going to get any change to interest rates. And that certainly is a better narrative than this expectation that there would be a rate increase. I don't think many people, if any people, are expecting a rate cut. I know if you listen to the president, if you listen to administration people, they would keep pitching and opining for a rate cut of some kind. I just don't think that's in the cards. I don't think that's happening. Um, but things can change, and so that's why it's more of a betting market thing. This is what people are thinking will happen. This is what people are expecting to happen, but you never know. Um, no additional bad news coming out of the Gulf area, the Middle East area. And so after they jumped the last couple of days, oil prices coming back down today. I don't know that this is anything more or less than a function of weighing what's coming out of the Middle East versus what the U.S. output is for oil, and saying, well, if it doesn't get any worse there, then we're still in pretty good shape. I know there are still a lot of things over there that need to get figured out and worked out, and it's unfortunate. I try not to mention this every single day, but I can't tell you how much um, I just want to see that whole situation come to an end. And if that means we have to go in and just unfortunately maybe obliterate the Revolutionary Guard. And if that means boots on the ground, as much as I hate to see that, that may be what it takes. So, all right, shifting gears to that. That's kind of what's driving things this morning. Shifting gears to the open positions that we have, the things that we're following. I am putting together a Netflix adjustment for our collar trade right now. I was working on that just before I came on live here. Very simple adjustment. We're going to roll our long puts out and down a little bit. Don't want to pay too much for long puts that are I should say, overly aggressive. We want to protect the stock from any downward movement, but we're profitable in the puts that we have, and we'll make that adjustment and roll that out. I'll send that later this morning. I'm going to do the same thing on the collar trade side with our Applied Digital Core Weave, um, Uber, and Snap trades. Our Nvidia trade will definitely make a move there. We don't want to keep that one open. The trade will stay open, but we do have to make some adjustments to that one. May not have to do anything at all with our short calls, but we'll definitely get some long puts rolled out a little bit. And then Palantir, we've got long puts. We've got short calls that are way in the money. And I mentioned this yesterday in the recorded podcast that I did, that with Palantir, we need to roll our short calls, but we're probably going to end up selling 100 shares of Palantir stock to pay for that. So that for those people that are in the trade, there's not additional money out of pocket. We're very profitable on some of those shares. We can use that as a way to buy to close some short calls. So we'll do that. Google trying to rebound a little bit today. I think Google has been unfairly beat up these last 5, 6 trading sessions. I still believe Google is going to snap back pretty fast. I know that they have now crossed over technically on the RSI, 5 and 20-day moving average technically crossed over. The MACD is still showing a pretty strong bullish trend, and I think now that they've come down and touched really, really close to 340, I don't think they quite hit it yesterday, but they got awfully close. The low of the session was 340 and 88 cents. They're up a couple dollars a share right now. I think they're going to snap back. I don't know that we're going to be able to sit in this open position without having to roll it out a week or two. Yesterday, I looked at the price of rolling the Google trade straight out. It was a little bit more money than what I wanted to pay. Today, it's only looking like rolling straight out to the 28th. You got to be careful when you go to roll these, because if you go to the default, it'll show those Monday and Wednesday options. Only 7 cents a share to roll the entire trade straight out. Well, that just 7 cents, and then it suddenly changed to 19. Anything less than 15 cents a share, I would do it without hesitation. But we may not have to. I really do believe by the end of next week, when those options expire, I believe we could so easily be back above 360. And I'll be honest with you, I think we could be back up in the neighborhood of 380. It took barely a week to get down here. I think in another week we could rebound and see something like this happen again. Like I said, I think it's been a little bit unfairly beat up, but what's happened has happened, and hopefully that turns the corner. A lot of you that got into the SpaceX trade got out yesterday. SpaceX had a big move up yesterday. I think some Elon Musk comments sort of rallied that stock in a big way. They're giving back a little bit of it today, but they're still our long and short call on that one are both still very much in the money by almost $10 a share. They were down a couple dollars, 2.5, almost $3 to start the session this morning. They're now only down about $1.50. I wouldn't be shocked to see them go positive again. I think they're going to end up here in this 150 range, today or tomorrow. They got close to that yesterday. I think they'll be there today or tomorrow. And if you didn't find that exit on your trade yesterday, hopefully you'll get out today or tomorrow. That's a nice one. SMCI, I closed the call side only on my trade, because when you do a long iron condor, if you're deep enough in the money, it's easier to get out of the winning side by itself instead of trying to close the whole spread. So I got my full target profit on that one, even though I still have the puts that expire tomorrow. They're both so far out of the money, I don't think that's an issue at all. Palantir having a nice move to the upside today, and Nvidia having continues to build on the momentum that they've had. So all in all, today is looking really good. SpaceX down a little bit, but still our options are deep in the money. So I think we're in good shape if you didn't get out of that one yesterday. I'm looking at new trades. I'm looking at doing a lot of a collar trade adjusting in the next couple of days. It's not all going to come today, probably some of it today, some of it for the weekend. But right now, our overall portfolio of open trades all looking pretty good right now. So I'll work on these adjustments and look for some new trades to get into especially on the triple play side of things. I'm going to wrap it right there for today. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be back on live tomorrow morning and have a very regular schedule for all of next week and the week after. I've got some vacation coming up in September where there will be one full week in the middle of September where I will not be doing a podcast, and I'm going to have all of our open trades pretty much set on autopilot so that there's no way I can ignore the market. If I have an internet connection, I'm going to be watching what's going on. I may be making some comments on Discord, but there will be a full week that I am taking off to spend with my family for some vacation. I'll give you plenty of heads up notice on that, and we'll have everything positioned so that we have nothing expiring that week and have a very low likelihood that we'll have to adjust anything that week. So, middle of September, I'll let you know as we get a little bit closer to that. But I start giving people a heads up right now. All right, take care. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll see you back here live tomorrow morning. Bye bye.